Hello and welcome to The Wolf and I. Today's episode will be broken down into three parts. In the first part, I'll be looking at the Microsoft earnings. It's one of the stocks that we have picked. Second part, I'll show you the portfolio, the actual portfolio and how it's doing. And in the third part, I'll be showing you the breakdown strategy for portfolio B. So let's get straight into the Microsoft earnings analysis. First of all, I want to say that I want to keep things as simple as possible so that anyone can understand what's going on. So I'll try to avoid making it too complicated. So let's look at the revenue breakdown, right? You get about 37 billion coming from LinkedIn and their Microsoft 365, so Word, Excel. A lot of the enterprise revenue is coming from there, and then they have their cloud business that's doing really well as well. So about 39 billion coming from there. So these two are like their main business right now, businesses, which accounts to about 85% of their revenue, and then the rest is personal computing and stuff like Xbox. I know they are recently kind of trying to deviate from Xbox. There were layoffs from the Xbox department, but yeah, 90 billion last quarter, and that's kind of how their revenue breakdown is. So let's get a bit deeper now. I want to do a yearly breakdown, a yearly analysis. So I have data from 2014 to 2026. We're trying to look into about 10, to have about a 10-year view on this. As you saw, the last quarter revenue was about 90 billion. And if you go back to 2015, that was like the annual revenue. So if you look at the revenue growth from like 2015 to 2017, they were in the single digit growth rates, right? And what's interesting is right after about 2018, they've maintained this 15 to about 17% growth rate, which is crazy for a company that's this big to keep growing at this rate. The only dip is in 2023. Remember, ChatGPT came out, they had the AI scare was going on, and there was a little dip in that year, obviously, but then they've come back strong, and they're continuing to have that revenue growth. Gross profit margins, again, if you look back 10 years, they were having that mid 60s gross profit margin, and they're still maintaining it to this date. So that's nice to see. Margins are not shrinking. They're having that steady margins. And if we come down to operating income, right? Operating income 2015-16 was at about 30 to 29%, and they've been able to increase it to about 45-46%, which is a massive increase over the years, right? Which kind of means that as a company gets bigger, right, they're able to kind of apply their sales and marketing and these development costs across a larger revenue base, which means they are enjoying those gains from having economies of scale, because the larger you get, you're able to absorb these costs much better, which will make your margins larger. And for a company that's this big, right, it's nice to see that they are still not seeing these economies of scale hit them, because sometimes when the companies get too large, the costs start to increase, those margins begin to come smaller, they start to shrink. But with Microsoft, they've been able to kind of actually do the opposite and expand those margins. Coming into net profit margins, again, 23%, 26% in those 20 ranges, and now they're hitting those 35 to 40 kind of range. So again, they've been able to expand their revenue side, but also expand their margins. Looks really good in my point of view. Obviously, these are all my points of view that I'm expressing. No right or wrong way to actually look at it, just how I do it. And the reason we were able to grab this stock, our average cost for this stock was, I guess, about $380 last month. It's now at about $490, so it has creeped up really fast. But we grabbed it around 380, 390. Was this part here, right? So let's break this part down here. So operating cash flow, right? So operating cash flow is the cash that the business retains after they do their operations, right? So it's sitting at about 180 billion, and their capital expenditure is what kind of scared off investors. So if you see, in 2024 they spent about 44 billion on their capital expenditure, and then they've spent about 64 billion in 2025. It's always been this steady increase if you look at the previous years, but it has never been a big increase like in 2026. In 2026, they went and spent 115 billion in capital expenditure, and all of that is kind of money that they're investing in AI. And they're kind of spooked off investors, because what if this bet fails, and what if they are not able to recoup all of these investments back? That's like one of the reasons why the stock fell. So the main question is, will Microsoft be able to recoup the investment that they did on AI? For me, I love the track record of Microsoft, right? They've spent if you can see, if you look in 2015, they've spent 5-8 billion on capex, and those investments into their capital, into their business, is the reason why they've been able to accelerate their revenue. So I kind of trust them to kind of get the AI call right. So let's get into the actual portfolios, right? So portfolio A, we invested $300, and it's currently sitting at about $299, just the S&P 500 index in portfolio A. And portfolio B, we invested $300, it's currently at $325. So where's the gains coming from? Microsoft has about $20 coming from Microsoft, so about a 27% gain since we bought it for Microsoft. And Google, you see about 560 there, about 8% gain. And Procter & Gamble, I've bought last week, so nothing much there. So yeah, Microsoft is leading. It's nice to say that Microsoft is doing well. Would have been nice to get more, but it is what it is. And we have about $50 sitting in cash to deploy if you get a good opportunity. So moving on to part 3, let's talk about the strategy for portfolio B, right? I won't really get into the strategy for portfolio B. Portfolio B, if we take it as percentage wise, 15% is currently on cash, 15% on Procter & Gamble, about 32% on Google, 37% on Microsoft. The two growth picks here are Microsoft and Google, which is about 70% of the stock. Nothing high risk as of now. The dividend defensive stock is Procter & Gamble, and 15% on cash. Now, I would like to have this growth from about 70% come down to about 50%. So I'm not going to sell any stocks, but as we keep putting $100, this percentage is going to come down, and I will reallocate how I see fit. And 20% I want to invest into something high risk. I'm still doing research. I'm still thinking where I want to get into. So high risk can be something like SpaceX, which is highly volatile but can have promising gains. So something very risky. I'm working on it. We'll see what we can get into. Keep about 15% in dividend paying and defensive stocks, and another 15% on cash, because I think the market is a bit overvalued right now. So if things get bad, we have that 15% to kind of get in and grab some picks, or grab some Microsoft if it comes down. So this is how I would like to have it going forward, at least for the next couple of months, given everything that's happening in the market. So yeah, I hope you guys liked today's video. I know it was a bit long, was a bit informative, I guess. I hope you enjoyed that one, and I'll see you soon on a new video. Yeah, let me know what you think. If you guys have any questions, if you have anything you want me to elaborate or talk about more, I would love to hear from you in the comments. Talk soon.